Good afternoon, folks. This is Deb Delapiano, and this is your short take. This afternoon, we're going to talk about guns. We're going to talk about guns. We're going to talk about thoughts and prayers. We're going to talk about the latest mass shooting at Premium Outlet Mall in Allen, Texas, where 9 were killed and 7 injured. So far this year, let me give you some statistics. We have had 191 mass shootings in 127 days. Let that sink in. We are on record pace. If you thought 2022 was bad, we're on record pace so far this year. And, we get the same bullshit from the GOP that we get all the time. We get all the our hearts are broken. We are crushed. We are saddened. We are dismally unhappy. And you know what? They're all full of shit because they will not address the root problem, which is too many guns, too many semi-automatic and automatic weapons. Let's not fucking quibble over what's an assault weapon versus what's not an assault weapon. We do not need semi-automatic weapons or automatic weapons in anyone's hands in the United States. Those are military weapons. They are not hunting rifles. Let's stop the bullshit. Okay? Because the Second Amendment isn't a good enough reason. And by the way, let me repeat to you what I have repeated in previous videos. The Second Amendment was never about Joe Blow owning a gun. Read it. An idiot could figure it out. Just because the Supreme Court caved to the NRA doesn't mean the Second Amendment was made for individuals. It was not. That was strictly a political decision. Now, let's discuss Governor Abbott's response. So let me just read some shit to you here, and I mean shit. This is Governor Abbott when he was asked about, would he support stricter gun measures? He kind of deflected that. He didn't answer that question. This is what he said, quote, "And I'll be going up to Allen later today to begin the process of providing hope and healing. But I got to tell you, there are questions that are lingering that the families want answers to, and that is, why did this happen? Oh, no shit, Sherlock. Why did the government do this? How did this happen? And I know those families need an answer as quickly as possible." So, why did the government do this? What's he implying? Is he implying that somehow Joe Biden's government caused this? They sent in fake people to shoot people at a mall so they could push for gun legislation? Because quite frankly, the Democrats have been pushing for gun legislation for quite some time now. And the GOP has failed to come to their senses because they're a pack of loons, okay? And they're owned by the NRA. Just saying. If he's talking about why did the government do this, maybe he should be looking in the mirror when he says that, because Mr. Crazy has made guns easier to get the more shootings there are. I know somebody who is in Texas right now that says it's like the fucking Wild Wild West. There's rifles and guns on the back of trucks, rifles and guns in every possible building. People carry rifles like they carry fucking purses in Texas. Land of the Wild Wild West. So he can shut the fuck up. But he's not the only big mouth. We have another clown from Texas. I ripped him yesterday on Facebook. So this is Texas State Rep Keith Self. He represents Allen, where the shooting took place. So they asked the question about, many people believe that thoughts and prayers are preventing mass shootings, and they're not. You're not, because prayers and thoughts mean jack shit when you get crazies on the street. He says, well, those are the people that don't believe in the Almighty God who is absolutely in control of our lives. I'm a Christian. I believe he is. We have people, though, with mental health that we're not taking care of since this nation made the decision we were going to close the mental health institutions. Many of these situations are based on that. And he goes on and on and on. I'd like to remind Mr. Self that the Republicans have decimated mental health in this country. Okay? Let's not go any further than that. They have been among the first to remove money from the mental health coffers, as it were. And he's implying that God is making this happen. Well, you know what? I'm glad I'm not a believer then, because I won't pray to someone like that. Just saying. And then Marjorie Taylor Greene, of course, had to weigh in because she's a loon too. She takes her pictures with AR-15s like they're, her latest lover. She blames mental illness, drugs, and evil forces, of course, because she's always going to have that intangible lunatic fringe conspiracy theory approach to life, because that's how she thinks. She's one of the most twisted people I have ever seen in politics. And that's who she's blaming. And here's who I'm blaming. I'm blaming the GOP for failing to come to the table and take assault weapons, automatic and semi-automatic weapons, out of the picture. No, we can't get them all off the streets because people own them. We can have a buyback program. It worked before when there was an assault weapons ban. But that is the only thing that's going to stop this shit. And by the way, there is a retired lawmaker from Texas who says it will continue until they take this approach. People aren't killing mass quantities of people with little pistols. They are using semi-automatic weapons, AR-15s for the most part. I can give you a list of the shootings that have employed AR-15s. In fact, if you go to YouTube in about an hour, you'll see this video up there. And we'll have all kinds of references to this in here. But, I also want to state that I took a trip over to Twitter, and you got the usual, questions from ignoramuses, which, now abound on Twitter because the free speech absolutist absolutely loves right-wing assholes because he is a right-wing asshole. We have questions like, was the shooter an illegal? Was the shooter a citizen, or was he one of Joe's future voters? Well, as it just so happens, they are actually investigating this particular shooter as a domestic terrorist because he had patches on his body that indicated he gravitated towards right-wing extremism, the kind of extremists that are created by the right wing and the GOP with their constant rhetoric, with their constant ugly rhetoric towards every minority in this country. Okay, let's call this for what it is, folks. The GOP is full of fascists, racists, bigots, transphobes, and homophobes. Okay, that create stochastic terrorists at an alarming pace. Sorry, we're not going to call this any other way. They have also already taken all of his electronic devices. They found multiple weapons in the vehicle they believe he used, and law enforcement was seen already investigating a house that he lived in. So no, unfortunately, we're going in the other direction. We don't know where it's going to go from here. We'll find out, I'm sure, at some point. But the point here is this. It really doesn't matter. And it really doesn't matter whether it's mental illness or terrorism or whatever, because the bottom line is you got to keep guns away from these people. And the only way to do that is take them off the fucking streets. There are other countries living without guns quite happily. They're quite happy to be without guns. They don't have mass shootings. We don't have them here in Massachusetts because we can't get those guns. Wake up, okay? There's one problem in this nation right now that's contributing to the alarming amount of shootings in this country, and it's the GOP. End of story. I'll talk to you all later.